LA for what we'll get into later. But Nate, we're still making this live show happen. Cricket Across America not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's been a great week. There's been so much going on the last 6 days, 7 days, and we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, 100%. So much to get into, and this is coming off kind of the tail end of the international season. The minor and major league season are over, and there's still so much to get into, and that's what you love to see. Cricket becoming a year-long headline in the U.S.
Yeah, the more the better, especially when it comes to big events like this, high-level cricket. We need it.
100%. And whilst we go about our business talking about what's going on in cricket across America, make sure you jump into the chat. Nate's going to be in charge of our live chat today, making sure that we're getting to all your questions. We want to hear it, and we want to see who's in there, who's leaving comments, and what the whole deal is. So we want to respond. We like to be very interactive with you guys, and we'll try to get to every single question you guys have. So please jump down there, and we will give it a rip. But before we start, before we get into any of the major things, just like we always do on Beta Innings, we have to get our eye in. And what are we going to get our eye in with? Well, there's a lot of these interesting little pieces of information coming out, especially about Premier Leagues and franchise leagues, and another domino has fallen for us. Mix here has Ali Khan. He's now jumped into the Lanka T10 Premier League. How cool is that?
Pretty great. I mean, he's a master of the short formats. As good as he is in T20, you could argue he's even better in T10.
Yeah, he is. He's great, isn't he? And he able to put those Yorkers in place, able to put those really big, interesting deliveries there. I think he started to develop those slower ones and the cutters, the reverse swings.
Yeah.
With a 60-ball game, it's always interesting to see how he affects it. But I'm glad to see more Americans out there in the world playing cricket at all levels.
Yeah, I think his style is aggressive, wicket-seeking nature really works out well for the shorter formats like that.
Yeah, 100%. And again, that's what 60-ball cricket is all about. It's about being aggressive, about seeking out wicket-taking opportunities, and it's about trying to create an opportunity to win the game with the ball. Because a 60-over cricket is all about the batters. It's how many runs can you score before the bowlers. It's slower balls. It's Yorkers. It's different types of deliveries. If you're not doing different things, then you're not going to win a T10 game. So we'll see Ali Khan there. I'm sure we'll see more and more individuals signed to that league. Interestingly enough, not signed in the Nepal Premier League. I would have loved to see Ali Khan play the villain within the league over there. I think that would be really cool.
Oh, man. So you like to see trouble.
Look, I think it makes for an interesting story, and I think those stories are always so cool.
We would love to see it, but,
I don't know if the fans in Nepal want to see that. I think that's where our biggest issue is. If you're a fan of Nepali cricket, try to get Ali Khan in the Nepal Premier League. Get a chance to experience the culture. Who knows? He might turn you guys, and he might turn into a Nepal supporter as well. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think that's all the news I got for you. Now, you got anything for me here?
No, just let's get into the big stuff.
He's just ready to get into the big movements here. Let's start out with the men's nationals. They started out this week. That's why Babar Bhai is away. He's in LA, part of the broadcast for that. An incredible broadcast that they're putting on. A lot of matches at concurrent grounds, and they're able to put everything on and get it forecasted for all of us and broadcasted for all of us. And we've already had some incredible 2 days of cricket. Let's start out with the standouts of what we've seen so far. The standout players, I mean, Nate, talk us through this. We see Utkarsh Srivastava on our screen, Achilles Brown, that's Ali Sheikh. You see Pranav Chittapalli in the bottom left, Aaron Jones, and Stephen Wigg. They've all had incredible times so far, haven't they?
Yeah, great stuff. We saw Stephen Wigg didn't take his first wicket in the tournament until the 8th wicket in the first game, and then now he's leading the entire thing after just 2 days with 6, which means he had a huge day today.
And Aaron Jones got 200s on his name already. We'll get into all of that, but we had to throw out their names already because we know you guys are itching to see it. But before we get into the rest of that, we had to show our little community of Morrisville a little bit of love. There's some local Morrisville guys out there. Utkarsh Srivastava you mentioned, but Sanjay Stanley, Rohan Phadke, and Aaron Jones, who now resides in Morrisville, they're all at the Men's National Championships, all representing Morrisville.
Yeah, we got to give a shout out to Morrisville, these 4 fellas here. All Morrisville Raptors, 3 of them products of the Triangle Cricket League here locally, and Aaron Jones, he doesn't need any introduction.
No, he doesn't. But whilst this Nationals has been so exciting, the reason it's also been pretty exciting is the names that aren't there on the roster. We were thinking, who's not there? And not only did we compile one graphic of names, not only do we compile 2 graphics of names, we've managed 3 graphics of names. So we probably could have squeezed into 2, but you'll see why it's 3. We'll start off with the notable misses. And just take a look at the names on this list, and we'll just run through them. Hamad Azam, Justin Dill, Cameron Gannon, Ehsan Adil, Kevin Savage, Noman Anwar, Kareem Agor, Ovis Pinar, Cameron Stevenson, Carmine LaRue, Cornet Dry, Akhilesh Badagam, Shehan Jaisurya, Brody Couch, Saif Badar, Corey Anderson, Shubham Ranjani, and Ian Holland. I raced through that. Notice the names in red. They have all represented the USA at some point. But these are some incredible names to be left out, Nate.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising, especially when you have a couple of these guys recently eligible. Carmine eligible just this month. Left arm fastballer, you can't have too many of them. Justin Dill, to me, there's a lot. It's hard to pinpoint one person who misses out for you, but I think Justin Dill would have been great in this format for USA. All of them would have been great. Like this could have. We have 8 teams in this men's nationals.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting that we have so many misses, but you have even more.
Yeah, there's even more to that list, and you would have seen guys like Ruben Clinton, Cameron Steele, Jamar Hamilton, Abiram Bolasetti, Emilio Ponzo, Kyle Phillip, who's represented the USA, the lone man on this list who have represented the USA. These are all guys who have had pretty decent years or a couple of years, and Kyle Phillip obviously comes with the pedigree of having played for the USA and represented them, that you're saying, where are they amongst the bunch? What's the most surprising name for you out of these 6 that you see on your screen?
Those 6, I think, most surprising right now would be the Ruben Clinton, the season that he had in the minor league. The fact that he's a major league player, he's eligible right now for USA Cricket. Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker. They're all surprising, but that one stands out to me.
Yeah, and especially with the season he had, one of the MVPs for this season. I look at Abiram Bolasetti, who was so highly regarded in the USA camps. Remember, was a part of that 2021 under-19 team. Had a really good 2022 with the bat.
Yeah.
And 2023 didn't really have that kind of year. 2024, I thought it was kind of a bounce back year for him with the bat in particular. Was bowling better than he did in previous years, but hasn't found his way back into that national setup, especially with the amount of young under-23 selected. You just thought Abiram Bolasetti made a lot of sense in that list.
I agree with you. Yeah, a lot of the players are young in this, which
Yeah.
I mean, I think. Look, there's so many good things about this tournament, even with the players absent that we've discussed. One of the very good things to me is it's kind of evolved into an emerging talent tournament. It's evolved into a discovery tournament. I think finding players who gauging where these younger players are in terms of talent right now. So it serves a fantastic purpose in that regard. But yeah, I am a little bit surprised to not see some of the names that we mentioned, and even more.
Yeah, and so the third graphic you're going to see here are misses almost not in the same way, but misses in a different style. This are what we reckon are notable misses due to injuries and or rest. You look at Andres Krauss, Stephen Taylor, Ali Khan, Milind Kumar, and Ashkan Jagay have all suffered injuries, and maybe even a Sushant Madani not listed there, but probably would have been part of the Nationals. He would have picked up an injury as well. Monang Patel not there. You reckon it's due to rest. I saw him doing push-ups on the beach in his Instagram, so I reckon he's just resting after what's a long year for him.
What surprises me here the most is the Stephen Taylor one. He had that injury a couple of months back, and then in minor league he had a couple centuries in the same weekend. And I don't think his injury's gotten any worse since then, so I'm a little bit shocked. I think this South team, my goodness, Stephen Taylor's going to help any team out. We have a couple of questions here. One of them says Bodegum is in one of the teams, and he is.
Is he?
It was a miss that we had there.
Which team, I'd like to know which team he is. I was looking through the team sheets earlier, and I was looking through the A's. I feel like I saw Akhilesh.
I think he's in the Southwest, but yeah.
Who commented that for us?
That is Gokul.
All right, Gokul.
Thanks, Gokul.
Tell us
Good catch.
what team he's in as well. We want to know.
Good catch. We're trying to stay on top of everything, and it's difficult in just a couple of days' time. But why aren't USA considering Cameron Gannon, Brody Couch, Cameron Stevenson, and Holland? Somebody says, well, there's no telling what the reasoning is why these fellows aren't in the tournament. There's a lot of cricket starting in Australia right now, so I would imagine a lot of the Australians are down there. And we know Ian Holland plays in Australia as well, and Cameron Steele as well. I think he plays a lot of cricket in Australia, even though he's English. And yeah, we're still sorting out what the policy is for inclusion in the tournament. But the way I see it now is it seems to be more of a discovery tournament, which definitely serves a purpose. So it's going to be exciting getting to know more players and getting to see more different players rise up.
Yeah, 100%. And our good buddy Z from 1709 Cricket, who posted that nice shout out, is there in the chat as well. He said, "What's the deal where all these misses not invited by USA Cricket, or did they choose not to attend?" We don't have that kind of inside scoop for you. These are just the names that were left off, whether it is because they needed some rest, whether they're injured, whether it's because they just didn't want to attend, whether they were said not to attend, whatever the case was. That's something we don't really know. But we know these are the individuals not there who you would have thought would have been there based on the nationals that we had before the World Cup.
Yeah, and you know, based on the last couple of nationals, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, it's been an exciting tournament so far. We've got 8 teams, like we said. So yeah, we'll be following along as much as we can.
Yeah. Speaking of the 8 teams, let's take a look at what those 8 teams look like right now. These are the standings that they currently see. In Group A, it's the West that lead things off, then the Mid-Atlantic, the East, and the Blue. And then in Group B, the Southwest hold the top of the table. These are through 2 days of matches, and the South, Midwest, and Red will all follow them. Group A, in particular, West and Mid-Atlantic tied up, and then the South and Southwest in Group B all tied up there. So very interesting headed into the final phases of this. Again, we're just starting with these first 2, but very interesting to see these. But I'll be honest, Nate, for me, the team rankings, who wins these, it's a sense of maybe, you know, regional pride, but I'm not sure it matters much who wins these competitions.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we want to see, we just want to see good cricket. We want to see a good tournament. So far, it's been really compelling. But you know, I mean, look, we're in the South Zone. There's no secret that we just did a graphic of the Morrisville players. For goodness' sake,
yeah,
there's no secret that we're going to be supporting our the local South Zone.
Well, we will be supporting our local South Zone, but we'll also be supporting all the individual players and wanting to see some really good performances. And we got a great one to start things off. Ali Sheikh started off with the first 100 of the entire tournament. And Nate, this was the Ali Sheikh we've been wanting to see with the bat, been waiting to see it, and boy, did he come good. I mean, he was great. And I think with Ali Sheikh, there's so much power, there's so much hand-eye. It's just putting all the pieces together at the right time. Still hasn't debuted for the USA. You know that feels sooner rather than later. And if he puts on more batting performances like these, I would like to see him continue to improve with the ball. But he's knocking on the door, and it has to be one of the next ones in.
Oh, yeah. He's been a big prospect for years now, for about 3 years. But I think right now he's come into his own. He's a regular star.
Yeah, again, he's just getting so many opportunities to develop. Speaking of a star, coming into the road, knocking on the door, sound like anybody? Wouldn't have sounded like anybody maybe a couple months ago in terms of knocking on the door, coming into their own. But Aaron Jones is... He's so good, isn't he? And on his day, there's just really no better bat than Aaron Jones. And he's a big part of why the South have those 4 points. And again, he is making the case, especially with a lot of good batters coming up through the ranks, right? You talk about Mohan Patel finding form again, Andres Kels in the ODI side. Shahan Jahangir scored a century up top of the order. Milind Kumar scored in the middle order. Smith Patel scored. Utkarsh Srivastava's now scored. Sanjay Krishnamurthy's now scored.
Frank Mandar scored.
In terms of the national setup.
Oh, as far as the national setup.
The ODI
sure.
team.
Yeah,
who hasn't scored there? So you have to really separate yourself. And Aaron Jones is doing that right now, saying, hey, look, all these guys are scoring, but I'm scoring at a different level right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as far as the national team goes, yeah, he's going to have to do this to get himself the team is competitive right now.
Yeah.
It's very competitive getting in that ODI side. And, Aaron Jones is got to be one of the first names that you're considering.
Well, a name that's starting to jump up through a lot of message boards, and a lot of people might not have had him that highly ranked. You and me have had him probably higher ranked than most folks in the U.S. just because we've seen him for the past couple of years. We know his versatility. It's Achilles Brown.
With the bat in the first innings, but big moment for a young player who he can bowl fast, he can bat well, he can keep wicket. He's a very versatile guy. We got to see him here at Church Street Park. When I saw him, I was like, yeah, this guy could have been on the U19 team pretty easily.
Yeah, and the crazy thing for me, I remember the first time I saw him was in 2023 down at the Putnam Beers Cricket Complex, talking to Matthew Comrie, and he says, "Have you seen that kid on the Fort Lauderdale line?" I says, "Yeah, he's really good. You can see him with the seam." He's like, "He doesn't bowl. They've just made him start. Like, he's just starting to bowl pace." I was like, "You're joking." He's like, "No, he's a wicket keeper."
Yeah.
And so when I see how well he's bowling, and then you see him keep wicket, I saw him keep wicket for the first time up here at Church Street this season.
Absolutely.
And he was phenomenal, diving out to his left, saving runs behind the stumps.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing it with the bat. This is a guy who checks every single box. And in an ODI team that lacks probably the depth in the pacing department and has a lot of wicket keepers,
right,
he's now checked the box of saying, okay, I can keep wicket, but if you don't need me to keep wicket, I can bowl pace.
Yeah.
And what does USA desperately need? A pace bowler who can bat, or gives you a batter who gives you an option of pace bowling.
Yeah.
Got plenty of options to bowl spin. This is a rarity in the U.S.
There's not a lot of fast bowling all-rounders here, as we've talked before about when we project a guy like Abraham Bolasetti into the future. Now we've got Achilles to project into the future as well.
I mean, he's phenomenal. The Bayesian, the American Bayesian, and he's doing incredible things. And it's great to see a youngster playing so well. Speaking of youngsters playing so well, how about the youngster who's become America's sweetheart almost here in the cricket community, Utkarsh Shivani. He's got so much time on his hands. He deals with situations well. No moment's too big. And that's a real testament to his training and the things his parents have done for him as well, and his coaches. They've given him the ability to compartmentalize and really put things into perspective on the cricket field. You never feel like the moment's gotten too big. He understands when he needs to go, when he needs to kind of settle things in. He understands situations. That's probably the hardest thing for young cricketers who have always been so talented, where he could easily, as a young cricketer playing in the youth circuit, could just fire from ball one. He's got that much talent where he could just try to go big every single delivery.
Yeah.
But he's looking to invest his innings, but not only invest his innings where he's going to take his time to score a half century. It's, what does the situation require me to do? Do I need to score in 25? Do I need to score in 75? Do I need to score in 50? How many balls do I need to take to score? And he can play to that kind of situation.
And not just that, but he had to support Aaron Jones during that innings when Aaron was absolutely on fire. I mean, Aaron got to that century in 56 balls. He needed somebody to get him on strike, and Utkarsh did an excellent job of that.
It's terrific. I was super impressed to see him. I still have your jacket, by the way, Utkarsh. I don't know if you want that or not, but you left your USA jacket down there in Grand Prairie. I picked it up. I still got it. You got to find a way to get you that back, or I might just keep it. Might put it somewhere on this wall. We might try to find a way to get it into here and give ourselves some memorabilia. And speaking of memorabilia, what a memorable summer for Sanjay Krishnamurthy, and he's carrying things over.
I mentioned the Achilles Brown innings, but the speed in which Sanjay plays every innings, he's very he's going to give you a massive edge when he's out there for 50 balls and he's scoring at a 140 clip. It's tough to top that.
He's just tremendous, isn't he? And again, it's another thing where he's just mastered his game. And I actually watched that interview with 1709 Cricket that he did, talking about the things Shane Watson told him, the little technical things, and those are brilliant. He's really picked it up onto that gear. What have you got for me, Nate? You're pointing to your screen. Just be affirmative. Tell me what's all about.
Here we go. Aman's doing like 6 things at a time over there. So my job is to watch the comments. So 1709, Nate, my brother, the team is competitive, quote unquote, is a massive understatement. It's never been more exciting to be a USA Cricket fan. I will agree there. We have 50 to 60 plus legit world-class players to draw from, and lots are young. In fact, I will say that our top 100 cricketers here in the USA would rival all but maybe 3 setups in the world. You know, so I think that's what I think. That's a bold statement from someone who really doesn't know what he's talking about. but I will say I think we have the deepest pool in all of associate cricket at the moment for 2 formats. Aaron Catling, Aaron, hey, thanks for joining us. Aaron Jones was next level today, and Utkarsh Shrivastava was really impressive too. Ali Sheikh was effortless with 44 off of 41 today, following his century yesterday, and not as flashy as yesterday, but classy left-handed batter and bowler. He's classy, he's athletic. You know,
he does so many things so well. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about him, about Achilles Brown, about Sanjay Krishnamurthy. They check so many boxes, do so many things well. In the field, they're going to save you 5 to 10 runs every game. Imagine you had 4 or 5 Nash Khenjiges running around there, that give you so much with both bat and ball. That's the beautiful part about these young cricketers.
Absolutely. No, it's great, and it's good to see so many young players getting their chances, and players like Ali Sheikh. When you have a guy like Ali Sheikh who've been able to follow, and then you see an Utkarsh coming up, it doesn't seem like a leap anymore to have a young player make the USA squad.
No, 100%. Well, we gave a lot of love to batters, but there was one bowler in particular that we had to shout out through video, and it's a left-arm seamer that we love to talk about.
And he gets Udin out. That was beautiful. But yeah, Stephen Wigg, one of the great things about him is how well he bowls in the death.
Yeah.
So when you see him starting off that way, it's going to be a good game for him.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of Stephen Wigg is, again, from the left, and I think he's really developed opening the bowling through minor league cricket. And we've always said he's just knocking on the door. When is he going to break in? And right now feels like the kind of perfect window for him. Ali Khan doesn't really seem fit to play ODI cricket at the moment. He's still trying to get back to health. While he gets back to health, you're looking for bowling options. Jesse Singh is coming off kind of an up and down series. Shadivan Skolkovic has had an up and down series, and probably at the tail end of his international career. Shadi, I love you. In shape. He's more in shape than I am, and I think he's got a long way to go. But probably he's looking more closer to the end than towards the beginning. There's an opportunity for Stephen Wigg to jump into the fold.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think he's always somebody that should be in the short list for sure. And that team is pretty good too. They got Manoj Acharya also, who's a very good bowler. We're used to seeing them bowling together or bowling against each other in the East Division and minor league. And just to throw it out there, how great is minor league that we have developed this many cricketers? I mean, they're responsible for what 1709 said about how we have the best. We have legitimately about 60 plus world-class players to draw from, and a lot of that's thanks to minor league getting these younger players up to speed with everybody else. It's thanks to minor league. And look at this Southwest team. They look a lot like a Central Division minor league.
They do, and again, it's a real credit because everyone will point out, the players they brought in, but they bridged the gap between the under-19 class and the national team class. And now you're seeing that bridge gap pay off. Sanjay Krishnamurthy, example number 1. Anali Sheikh, who you don't get in the team originally, even Sateji Mukamali, you don't get into the team originally, kind of just drop off. You disappear.
Yeah.
But now guys like Vatsa Vagela and Rahul Jariwala
Yeah.
can hang around and keep punching their weight. Stephen Wigg has an opportunity to show himself
Right.
against the best players in the country. Speaking of showing yourself against the best players in the country, the beautiful thing about minor league, it's all televised. There's always a stream for every single game. Well, we have a question here from Rajiv Verma. Hello. How come cricket is not getting popular, and what can we do so that it's on local TV networks so that people are well? Well, first off, hello to you, Rajiv. There's a couple of different loopholes to get into. I don't think we're getting international matches into these local TV stations anytime soon. Just with the rights tiers you have to jump through. But Major League was on some of those local networks as well, the regional sports networks. Nick.
Yeah, they were on Bally's in several different regional Bally's. That's a cable network here in the USA, Cable Sports Network. John Boy has some of his events now on Bally's as well, and one of his events is the Ball and Play League, which helps people learn cricket.
Yeah.
And so those two things being on the same networks in some regions is a very good thing, I think. We had cricket on the Yes Network in New York, which is the Yankees network, and so anytime the Yankees weren't playing, they would show a Major League Cricket game.
Yep. It was awesome because I remember there was an MI New York game that was in Morrisville, and I got an opportunity with Mike Hazeman. We got to talk about like the baseball versus the cricket ball, the construction of it. And I knew we were going to be on the Yes Network, so at the end of the segment, when Hazeman goes and explains about the balls, I said, well, whether you're Garrett Cole or you're Trent Bolt. So it's like finding ways to try to tie the things together. And I think that's the biggest thing, Rajiv, finding ways to tie things together. Don't attack an American sports fan who doesn't know about cricket, maybe likes baseball, maybe likes football, whatever, and don't say, oh, well, this is 100 times better than your sport. That's not the way to attack it. It's, here's the beautiful thing about your sport, here's the beautiful thing about my sport, and here's where they kind of mesh, and here's how things work together. Because people want to learn about different sports. That's what I think I've come to realize. I think you would have a similar thing. And if you treat them with that bit of respect in terms of respecting their sport, they're much more open to learning about your sport, and then that'll kind of trickle away to everybody else.
Yeah, this is a topic we love, Rajiv. And I do think it's going to make it into more television markets. But this year was a huge step for Major League Cricket. You know, we need to get more than just maybe a month of cricket. Like, obviously, Major League Cricket can only be so long.
Yeah.
But that's a step in the right direction. And I think events like the way that USA did so well in the World Cup and might have brought some new people into the game. And so having things like this Nationals for people to join in is, I think, a very good thing.
100%. And also, we've seen a couple of cricket top 10 plays. Now, I want to throw one up there from these Nationals. Nate, you cut this video up. Talk to me about this unbelievable.
Spectacular to me.
It was unbelievable. It's the diving out to your left. And Unmukt's a fantastic timer of the ball.
Yeah.
Especially through wide long off to cover. If it's in that region, it's probably come off the middle of the bat with him.
Yeah.
And to just kind of stick two hands out, dive around, that's a tough catch because it's always going to be swirling away from you as well.
Great job by Nakarni, too. He took 3 wickets in the game. That was, I believe, the first one.
There's another youngster who's climbing the ranks, right?
The second one, actually, yeah.
He's an under 19, and he's just continuing to move things along. And Gashivasa part of that, Arya Garg who's part of that. Good to see those things continue to happen. And it's a credit to a guy like Zia Shahzad who comes in here, right? He comes in, and not only is he a player, but he coaches. And now you get all the experience of Zia Shahzad meshed into the fabric of young cricketers in the U.S.
And this might actually answer a question. Up above, we have Samarth Barthwal, who said, who can be the team's third spinner in the next Cricket World Cup League 2 series in Oman, as USA will be touring there in 2025? Now, this is a really great question, I think. And I think that Zia Shahzad might be one of the possible answers.
There's a couple of answers, right? It's, are they looking at leg spinners? Are they looking at more left arm spinners? Because Ali Sheikh could fill in a role as a third spinner. is Yasser
Is
Muhammad.
Yasser going to get more time?
Right, he's
Yeah.
been on the tours, but he hasn't been really getting into the games. I think they want to see him continue to grow with the bat. So whilst they wait for him to grow with the bat, do you see Azir Shahzad sneak in, and Ali Sheikh sneak in to that spot because you know you have spinners that can come
that's
in
right.
with that.
Or
So-
do you go full bowler and go with Watzel Bigella, who's, I think he's going to hate that I said full bowler because he's definitely got a good bat too. But you know what I mean. We have a lot of options there. Samart, and but I mean Zia and Ali Sheikh are very similar in that the package that they bring.
Yeah.
Both of them tremendous fielders.
Yep.
And Yasser is a tremendous fielder himself. We have a lot of good options for that third spinner.
And the crazy part about it is we say it as a third spinner because our top two spinners have kind of been set standard.
Yeah.
Harmeet Singh and Nash Kenjage have earned their spot on probably every team
It's tough to move
USA
them
put
now.
out.
It's tough to move them.
And I don't know which one would be the first to go.
Yeah, it's tough to move either of them. Obviously, Harmeet gives a little bit more with the bat.
Yeah.
But Nosh can bowl with the new ball more.
In the field at point, how many
Sure.
runs does he save there? I mean,
His throwing in the field is
So
fantastic.
they just are so explosive in their own individual ways. It's hard to see that you have to include a third spinner. And
Yeah.
does that? And for me, you just throw Sanjay Krishnamurti the ball more often.
Yeah, maybe
that's where your third spinner comes from.
maybe that's it. And obviously you got Milind Kumar in there with the
Of course, Srivastava comes
or
in.
you
bowls
bring in
some off spin.
you bring in Steven back in the team.
Yeah, Aaron Jones bowls a little leggy.
Yeah,
you know.
it's a great question because going to Oman, you're going to need spin.
You're gonna need some spinners.
I was talking to Rishi about this the other day. It's definitely a spin-friendly confines.
And there's one right underneath there from Gokul. He says MLC needs more teams to showcase all the talents. USA A tours are necessary as well. Well, I think Major League, you saw a huge step in season 2, where in season 1 it felt like, okay, there was kind of the domestics were utility guys, right? Like the Nosh Kenjages were going to be the stars because they didn't really need the ball, they didn't really need the bat, but they were going to find ways to make something happen. This past season, you felt there were more defined roles for
Yeah.
domestic players, and
Yeah.
that's what you wanted. Like Calvin Savage, again, he's not going to just open the batting, but his role is to come in at the end, hit the ball around.
was
Josh
great.
Trump,
Yeah.
very similar. Sarabhat Thavalkar, come in and take wickets, right?
Oh.
We're seeing more and more roles develop. And as you see more and more roles develop, I think that's when you'll see more and more of these players start.
And not just the roles, but you had a guy like Hassan Khan,
Yeah.
who was absolutely phenomenal. He was one of the star players of the league.
Sanjay
Krishnamurti batting at number 3 for a
Yeah.
team that made the finals. I agree with Gokul on both fronts here. MLC needs more teams to showcase all the talents. Agree. Let's get 2 more. We'll probably do it in 2 years, I think. This is not any news here, breaking news. And then USAA tours are necessary, absolutely necessary. And guess what? We have minor league teams here. We have a lot of good players here. We could play USAA tours just domestically go to Texas, go to LA, go to Florida, come here to North Carolina, go up to Albany. Like there's a lot of different wickets and different environments. We could play a whole USAA tour without even leaving the country. It's an exciting time to be a fan of USA cricket.
Yeah, and I would like to see a USAA team also maybe get an opportunity to tour like an Oman.
Sure.
I
That
don't know if that's going to happen.
Sure.
Because the costs involved and what do you accomplish with the USAA team going overseas, whether
Sure.
the USA team needs to probably warm up against the Oman A team.
Right.
Typically you'll see the A teams play at home, but hey, if you want to send, you have a minor league and then you want to send a couple guys early, send an A team.
Yeah.
However that flows.
And then have a non-qualified American living team.
Sure.
Have a team full of the Hassan Khans and
The Mosins were coming up
Mohammed
with
Mohsins.
available, yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you have 2 or 3 of those teams, you can tour the whole USA. You don't even have to, you don't have to do the expensive international flights with the visas and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, that is it for the men's nationals. Keep those comments coming. Nate's going to keep monitoring it. I'm going to try to sneak over. Since Babarbai isn't here, I'll give you a little behind the scenes. I have the graphics on my end, so I'm trying to direct a little bit over here whilst we talk about what we need to talk about. So Nate's got the honor of the comments, so keep hounding them there. We love to see, we love interacting. That's what we think makes the shows ever so much better. But whilst we wait for more, let's jump into the under-19 side of things because, again, the youth are what is the big idea, right? That's what's going to continue to grow the sport, and we'll see the future of our sport in this country. Well, let's four. But we do want to shout out some of the youngsters, and again, we're going to show a little bit of our bias, Nate.
Oh, yeah.
I know that we're supposed to be very objective, and we try to be, but there are moments where we're going to show our bias, and here's one of them. Right, on try. That's a name that Nate Hayes is going to want to say for very long.
Oh yeah, well I'll be saying it for a long time too. This kid's not gonna go. He's not going away. He's too good. He loves the game too much. He's so much fun to watch. We got to see him bat in the Super 8. That
He
was
did.
probably the highlight of the whole thing.
And he put on some extra runs. It was a very valuable
was
innings.
great.
Then he came in with the ball. It was fantastic.
He was great.
Speaking of batting, let's jump in to the highest runs scored. And if you have a sibling or friends or your parent up in 19, get shout them out down low. We want to hear where you're watching, who's the kid that you're watching with, and just what you were excited about. Just anything. Especially want to hear from you guys. But this is what the runs felt like over there in. A little bit too, and I could make a case as a third seamer that can bat, an all-rounder. I think he's trying to be. Anytime I see his Instagram now, he's posting batting highlights, not bowling highlights.
Yeah, Arya Garg. I mean, you asked me. You said who's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing a little bit of trivia on that, and I couldn't guess it. And then you said he's a bowler, and you say his name all the time. I'm like, oh, Arya Garg. And so we got to be a little bit quicker with our videos and photos. It looks like our audio drops when we get to there. That is a Bobber. Come on, Bobber. Don't leave us hanging high.
He showed me exactly how he usually does it. I'm not sure why that's the case. We might just try to go graphics heavy and then come back out with audio, or just might cut graphics. We'll decide as it keeps going. Let us know if everything gets
Does it
a
cut
little
out
bit better.
completely 1709? Does it cut out completely Z?
Well, whilst we
find
wait for
out.
him, we'll continue to talk because there are no graphics up. But yeah, Arya Garg jumps in, and I love to see when young athletes, no matter what sport, don't specialize too early. I think, especially in today's day and age, no matter what sport you're playing, it feels like everyone's trying to specialize so quickly.
Right.
When you can take so much from every single skill set, and it just makes you more of a well-rounded athlete, and that way you're a well-rounded player.
Yeah, we he says 1709 said yes. It completely drops out. Bring back Bobber. We agree, but not because it's okay. It's okay.
I tried, guys.
It's not your fault. Like I'm over here just trying to not have a mouse, and I'm struggling. And but yeah, no, you're right. And if one of the biggest trends now in youth sports, in American youth sports, is to train athleticism like crazy for the first dozen years or so, probably the first 15 years of a kid's life. Train athleticism, train agility, train movements, so that you can make those diving, sliding catches, and you know how your body works when you're in each of those positions, how you can get yourself leverage, how you can get power from different weird positions. Like everybody is learning basically how to be a shortstop, or a wide receiver. And that's great because the earlier you learn these athletic movements, the better. And skills, you have your whole life to gain skills. But like get those, like you said, I like it when a player is one of the greatest things about cricket to me is that you're always learning, you're always changing. How many famous cricketers do you know of who've had their roles changed while they were professionals? You know, I think that's Stephen Smith, for example, one of the best batters in the entire world, was a spinner. And there's always something you can improve, and there's always I like that Arya Garg thinks of himself as a batter.
Yeah, and again, especially in the U.S., we need more pace bowlers that do provide a little bit with the bat. And you speak about Stephen Smith. Yeah, he's a tremendous bat, but how good is he in the field?
Yeah.
We saw him live and in person. He runs around incredible. At first slip, he's diving left and right, and that comes from a foundational base of athleticism. He's an athletic individual who makes things happen. Marnus Labuschagne, how many different variations of bowling does he have? He comes in bowl leg spin. He'll come bowl, off a couple of steps, long run, and try to bowl, some 132s.
Sure.
It's about trying to bowl bouncers of Virat Kohli maybe during the Australian summer. And then he comes in and is one of the best test batters in the world. But you watch him in the field, and it's no surprise that he's able to develop all these skills because he's so athletic. And one thing I think with cricketers and young cricketers, they don't play enough other sports.
Sure.
I think I would love to see more young cricketers play soccer and basketball and operate in tight, small spaces and develop spatial awareness and understand those angles. And because we always talk about how to find gaps. We have to see angles. And I think the other sports where you're trying to pass two individuals cutting through defenders gives you those angles. Even American football, right? You have to, if you're playing zone coverage, we've talked about this all the time.
Yeah.
You have to know where the zone is, know where the soft spot is, and hit it. So I'd love to see more and more young cricketers playing other sports to develop those types of skills. Because oftentimes when you're just practicing cricket, you're just practicing how to hit the ball into the middle of the bat. Or just practicing how to get the wrist straight down to the ball, which are great things to have.
You have to learn those,
But the ability to see space is universal.
Yeah.
And that'll help you no matter what type of cricketer, whether you're a batter, bowler, whether you're great in the field, however, it'll improve every aspect of your game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, well, that's for sure. So yeah, go out and play everything that you can play. Have a good time. Do whatever's fun.
There you go. But also make sure you do your homework as well. You don't. You got to make sure you do your homework. But we're gonna try one more graphic. Now you let me know if this cuts out. And if it cuts out, we might just lose graphics, which might not be the worst thing in the world. But here we go. We talked about the run scorers, and we talked about the bowlers. Now, let me know, guys, how the audio is. If it's bad, and Nate's going to read it out to me, we'll come out straight away. But here we go. These are your highest wicket takers on the tournament. You have Adit Kappa, Aryan Tamala, Shiv Shani, Ayush Patel, and Sahir Bhatia. Those are your top 5 wicket takers, and I hope the audio got there. If it didn't, I'll read the names out afterwards. If it didn't, that's Aryan Tamala, who's there on your screen. A couple of spinners topping that list, no surprise to see that. But Nick, how good is it to see and continue to see these young bowlers continue to find success?
You said that worked. It worked that time.
I know what the problem is, guys. Don't worry. I'm on it.
Did
I'm
you
all
really?
over it. I figured it out.
We could take a break and you could tell me. No, the 16th time was a charm, he said. Well, this is the second time because he didn't know the first time.
I didn't know the first time. Well,
so,
thank you. Thank you, 17.
There we go. But yeah, we have we have Aaron saying Achilles Brown, maybe the best pure athlete at Woodley this week. That's great. Another great athlete, Kareem Agor. We've talked a lot about these guys, but Achilles Brown, according to Peter on Twitter or on Facebook, he was a 4x100 champion in a relay sprinter. That's great. That's always going to help you out. You can never be too fast.
you can never be too fast. So the under-19s were a great success. We saw great batting performances, great bowling performances, and we saw both Arya Garg and Utkarsh Srivastava head out of the under-19s. They head straight into the Nationals, which is really cool to see as well. To see them continue to move through the ranks. It's incredible. Again, if you're watching and are a parent, a sibling, a friend of any of these under-19 cricketers, or even the men's nationals, please let us know who you're friends with, where you're watching from. We love to know. We love to hear and see who's enjoying the content. We're going to move on to the under-15s now, however, because they also need a little bit of love. First off, a huge congrats to every single member of the under-15 class that made the 2024 USA Cricket National Championships for the under-15. Again, don't love the naming conventions. New Jersey, D.C., Missouri, Bay Area. I feel like those are too specific. Widen them out. You can go east, south, central, west.
they're simultaneously too specific and too vague. But but hey, we got 4 teams in the men's championship there, and congrats if you made the team. If you're watching, and you made the team. Congrats to everybody.
Yeah, congrats to everybody involved, and we also did have some great performances that we did get to see, and we didn't really get one thing I would have liked to see more of was more coverage of the under-15s. They were playing down at the Butterbeers Cricket Complex as well, but some coverage that we did get came thanks to USA Socials, and we have some of their players of the matches, so some standout performers. We have Athar Kosho and Advait Dumal Rao, who are both players of the matches for their particular matches, and again, good to see young cricketers getting an opportunity to play against the best in the country consistently and getting recognized for their work.
Yeah, great job, guys. These are names to watch out for in the upcoming years in minor league, in the national championships, in the U19s. Yeah. It's good to see. We love watching the guys come up through the ranks and end up on the national team.
Yeah, and again, I think minor league is the next big step for a lot of the youngsters under 15 and under 19s. They'll continue to move into those ranks, and interested to again see Arya Gar continue to develop through minor league. And I know we're on the MLC Network. I know we say it a lot, but I think minor league is so good and probably the most important domestic structure we have because it develops talent at a rate unlike anything we've seen in USA cricket.
Yeah, it does. It's we love it. It's 25 very good teams, 25, 26 very, very good teams. Those teams in the Super 8s, how good were they? I don't think enough people understand how good minor league cricket is, and we get to see that reflected in this men's national championship.
Yeah, we do, and it's been really cool to see it. Again, I think it was tough for the national team players who are already on the team to kind of regroup after a long year to get back into the idea of playing a national championship and doing yo-yo tests and things like that. But it was almost perfectly planned on that schedule, wasn't it? Because it's right before an Oman series, so you're like, okay, into 2025, we're going to have a whole new selection pool to choose from. We're going to confirm that these are the guys we want. And it's right at the end of the calendar where there's really nothing going on. I think a lot of people give USA Cricket a lot of slack for a lot of stick for things that they do. This is probably one of the better things they've done in terms of planning an event around the schedule.
Yeah, I think it's well positioned for sure.
Well, there you go. That's all we have scheduled on the docket for today. Nate, you got anything else before we head out?
Well, I want to see, who do you think is going to win the national championship? Which team's going to win? There's 8 teams. There's basically 2 Colts teams because we have a red and a blue. I like that. But who do you think who's going?
Well, the West won the under 19 nationals. West 1 did. But here's why West 1 won the under 19. Literally, their team name is West, the number 1. So they won.
Right.
The reason they won is because there's no South team. South is winning it all. Aaron Jones is going to keep it going alongside Viktor Srivastava, and they're going to get the job done.
Well, West won because East won lost.
Well, there you go. Those guys, we're all there. There you go. Gokul says the West team's going to get it done. Nate, where's your money lying here?
I'm the one that invented this problem. I was the one that said we should decide, right?
It's all on him.
You picking the South.
I picked the South.
I can't pick the South then. We can't double down on the South.
We've
already quadrupled down on it in the show. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick the Southwest. I'm thinking the Southwest is going to do it.
Who's going to be the couple guys out of the Southwest that are going to get it done?
Ali Sheikh.
Okay, yeah.
I think Ali Sheikh is getting it done. I think you're going to see some great stuff continually from Akhilesh Badagam.
There he is.
He's going to get it done. And Harmeet Singh. The team is it's a very stacked team. This is a very stacked team. Also Smith Patel.
There you go. All right. So Nate's got his side. He's got the Southwest. So he kind of copped out. I got the South. I definitely copped out. We have a West pick in the chat over there. If you have your picks, please drop them down there. Any more fluttering in here, Nate? Anyone else pick anything else?
No, but we are going to be back next week, and we're going to wrap all this stuff up, aren't we?
That's what we're here for. Every week, every Wednesday, cricket across America. That's what we're here for.
Almost every week.
We try to be here every week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had a blast, as always. Thank you so much for interacting in the chat. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments. We want to do this. We love doing this, and we would love to see if maybe we can get some sponsors to help us out with this. And if you guys are able to find some folks or push this to enough people, that can become a reality for us. Want to say thank you to Barber Bite for helping me set all of this up before last week. We stayed in late after the show to get it all done. Nate working with me through all this for you guys, for working through us through all the audio and sitting through us through the late night. Nate, once again, thank you so much for myself, for Nate Hayes, for Bobber Big, and for Cricket Across America. We say thank you. We want to wish you a very good night.